Hello everyone, hope you're all safe and well. Welcome to this program, Read Your Bible Through in a Year. We are on day 16 and today we will be reading chapters 39 and 40 from the book of Genesis, and in the New Testament we will be reading Gospel according to Matthew chapter 11. If you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do subscribe. It's very important that you follow these readings, and in a year we complete reading the Bible. It's very useful and it's a daily devotion which helps and guides you. And also don't forget to press the bell icon so you will get the notifications and reminders. As of June, as I told you, we will be starting this program also in Tamil. Now let's go to today's reading straight away. Now in 37, Genesis chapter 37, we read about Joseph as a dreamer. Joseph had prophetic dreams and had the grace to interpret the dreams. It was this which helped him to come to power in Egypt. He won the favor of Pharaoh. Now in chapter 38, it's a recap. Yesterday we read about Judah and Tamar. Now we are coming back in chapter 39 about the life of Joseph in Egypt. Now we already saw in the chapter 37, he was sold to Egypt to Potiphar, one of the Pharaoh's officials, the captain of the guard. So there's where he is working as a slave. He was sold as a slave there. Now in Potiphar's house, something extraordinary happens. God was with Joseph in whatever he did, and Potiphar was able to recognize this. He was able to see that whatever Joseph did, even as a slave, he prospered in whatever he did. He was able to know that not only Joseph was blessed, not only Potiphar was blessed. Because of Joseph, even the household of Potiphar was blessed. So what we read in chapter 39 verses 6 is, so he, that is Potiphar, left in Joseph's care everything he had. So he didn't bother. So he saw that everything, whatever Joseph did, prospered. So he left everything to Joseph's care. He was concerned only about what he was eating. Now there's a slight change of event here. Now Potiphar's wife saw Joseph. Joseph was a very handsome person, and she wanted to have him, and Potiphar refused, because he always refused that. Look, I'm a slave, but you're my master's wife, so I can't do this. But Potiphar's wife tricks him and he ends up in prison. So even in prison, God's favor was that. This is what I tell you. You should have God's favor. You should have God with you all the time. So you should take God with you everywhere. So reading the Bible, taking the Bible. I told you in the beginning, wherever I go, I carry the Bible. That is the first thing I pack when I travel, and I always read Bible every day. I do read as my daily devotion. Now I've started this program. I read through that again. Then 1st of June, I'll be doing this in Tamil. I'll be reading that again in Tamil. Now, some might ask, how is it possible? Yes, it is possible. The more I read, the more favor I win from God. That is very, very important. It's a blessing that you have with you, God, all the time. So the Lord was with Joseph in whatever he did. Now, Potiphar's wife tricks Joseph and puts him in prison. Even in prison, he wins the favor of the person in charge. There we read in chapter 39, verses 20. But when Joseph was there in the prison, the Lord was with him, and he showed him kindness and granted him favor in the eyes of the prison warden. So the warden put Joseph in charge of all those held in the prison. So even in the prison, he won the favor. So that is the beauty, that is the grace, that is the advantage of having God with you all the time. So even in prison where he was punished, he won the favor. Playing around with Potiphar's wife, is master's wife, is something very serious offense. Now Potiphar's wife has blamed Joseph, and he's in prison with a warden. He wins the favor. So that is what it happens. We read towards the end of chapter 39, Lord was with with Joseph and gave him success in whatever he did. That is one of the advantages of God being with you. The Lord was with you, with Joseph, and he was successful. Throughout his life, we can read the Lord was with Joseph. Now, chapter 40, fairly straightforward. Now there is the cupbearer and the baker of the king, of Pharaoh, was put in prison because of some problems there. Pharaoh was angry with these two officials, that is the cupbearer and bakers, the chief cupbearer and the chief baker, and put them in custody in the house, the captain of the guard, where Joseph was in charge. So there's where he was the captain of the guards, assigned them to Joseph, and he attended them. So we already saw in chapter 39, Joseph won the favor of the warden, and he was in charge of all those who were in prison. Now, cupbearer and the baker, two officials, made the Pharaoh angry, and they sent him to the guard, and now Joseph becomes in charge of them. Now, look at, as I told you, Joseph had this power to interpret the dreams. Here, the cupbearer and the baker had this vision. Now, they had no one to interpret them. Here, Joseph interprets the dream for both of them and tells them, look, cupbearer will be restored to his place, whereas baker will be put to death. But he also tells them, when you come back to the position, please remember me. So now he was not only winning the favors, but he was also wise. Joseph was also wise in telling the decisions. You know who cupbearer is. Those days, the king, even before he drinks his wine, there is a cupbearer who tastes the wine to ensure that the drinks are not poisoned, and whether it is to the standard. So they are called as the cupbearers, who were in the service of the Pharaoh. Now the chief cupbearer was restored, whereas the baker was put to death. So with that, we finish chapter 40. It's fairly straightforward, no detailed explanations, but I would say it's an easy reading. It's a life of Joseph. As it goes towards the end of the book of Genesis, you will read more about interesting stories about Joseph and how his brothers come to see him, etc. Now, coming to the New Testament, we will be reading Gospel according to Matthew, chapter 11. Here, Jesus and John the Baptist, we read about John the Baptist sending his disciples to Jesus and tell them, also go and ask Jesus whether he's the one who's to come, or should we wait for someone else. Now, the disciples come to Jesus and ask them, this is what John the Baptist asked us to do. Then Jesus tells them, go and tell him what you see. The sick gets healed, the dead are raised, etc., etc. So, and he also compliments John the Baptist in this chapter 11, where he says how important John the Baptist is, and how the people mistake the coming of the Son of Man. Now he says John the Baptist came fasting, etc., but they said they didn't accept him. Now the Son of Man comes eating with the sinners, etc. They said they don't accept him either. So now he says this is what the generation is about. And also he tells the people, he teaches the people, those who are weary, those who are tired, please do come to me. Chapter 11 verses 28, come to me all you are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle, humble in heart. So he explains to them the consolation of coming to him, who Jesus exactly is, who God is. So that is what we read about in chapter 11. He still talks about himself, about his healing, his consolation words. So in a couple of words we will be reading about all these messages of Jesus, but chapter 11 especially concentrates of Jesus complimenting John the Baptist. So with that, we finish today's reading, 39 and 40 from the Genesis and Matthew chapter 11. Hope you're enjoying your Bible reading and being blessed. Do continue, don't give up, don't postpone, then it will become more to read the next day. It's just a story. When you read, it is easy going, and please do sit down and discuss everything. So I'll see you tomorrow. In the meantime, if you have any doubts or queries, do not hesitate to comment, put it on the comment, so I will respond to you. Stay blessed and goodbye, and I will see you tomorrow.